Hello there, English speakers, and welcome to, can you guess? It shouldn't be here, of course. It's a large-leaved lime or linden. So those are not growing here, but maybe it's comfortable here in its snowberry place, so maybe it can stand the cold. These are really cute. Looks fluffy, like tiny snowballs, which I assume is the reason that they are called that. We'll talk about some battling of propaganda, co-workers and social media. But let's start by taking a big, deep breath. You remember the soya that you can cook stuff to make you less sick of, if you are into that. So here are some tips from Rebecca Zung, and she talks about how to handle narcissist pieces of garbage, which might be good to be able to do if you are in court and are fighting those kind of personalities that are horrible, and you can laugh them off when they are starting to behave in their way. But here is a general tip, not only for narcissists, but lazy co-workers and so on. So you start a conversation with, did you get my email? And then they have to say yes. And did you see the attachment there where my numbers were? And they continue and say yes, they did see that. So then you have fixed these numbers and update them by tomorrow. And then they say, no, I don't want to. But then you have built up saying yes, 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 yes. So this is typical if you want to persuade anyone for doing anything. If it's their job to do exactly what you're asking for, they are inclined to not want to do it. But if you start with, where are my numbers? Get my numbers. Then, of course, they will get turned off and they will start to think about the reason not to do it. So this is a kind of pacing. When you start to talk like they do, you talk in their pace. If they are lively, you are lively. If they are very calm, then you are very calm, you too. So you can do this, of course, with lying and brainwashing also. You start with inviting them to a great party. They just have to accept a little lie. Let's call it an anti-Semitic party against anti-Semitism. And then they have to accept this lying word. As I can remind you, only Zionists can be anti-Semitic, which of course is a lie, but it's a telling lie that exposes their behavior. So you get people to accept a little lie, and they get a big reward when you are doing your capacity building and building up your organization of lies. And then they have to accept bigger lies for smaller rewards, or to not just lose their job that they just got after accepting the small lie. And then you call them to action, how they have to behave like brainwashed golems that go after, for example, anti-vaxxers or people who are in their way. And then you have trained a brainwashed army. So that's how to do that if you want to. So yes, if you do make people accept something and then you just push it until you get what you want. People want to be consistent, even if the questions might not have so much to do with each other. So that's what I'm using when I say that you should get these people out of power if they are anti-vaxxers, climate pushers, Zionists, etc. People who believe in one of the big lies. Because then people start to think, at least, but I'm an anti-communist and I don't like the climate bullshit, I don't like the vaccines, but yeah, I'm a Zionist. Why am the Zionism on this list? Aren't we against Islamist terrorism that, you know, Netanyahu invented in 1984 with his conference, branding it just like that, so that it will become easier to murder Muslims. But there are NGOs, and first thought in your mind should be, okay, what is so evil with this NGO? I will tell you. You already know that it's a non-governmental organization, then you know it's probably something really evil. Save Armenia. Okay, so they want to save Armenia and they want to ensure that Azerbaijan doesn't go unpunished. Okay, so this is an organization, one of the, not the biggest, but one of the biggest that is promoting Armenian interests in USA, just like AIPAC, and just like AIPAC, it's run by Jews. Yes, the Jews, the Zionist Jews, that are helping Israel arm and train the Azerbaijan army so that they can genocide the Armenians. Those Zionist Jews are in control over the opposition to the Azerbaijani Israeli genocide machine. So that's how they do it all the time. Create your own opposition and control it. When you see this, and you see it all the time, you have easy way to warn anyone building an organization that they are probably, either if they know it or not, they are probably some sort of controlled opposition. On X and elsewhere, if you post something about deport all whites, you are probably going to be okay, that you will not get blocked for saying that all whites should be deported. You might get in trouble if you say all Hispanics should be deported, all blacks should be deported, all Muslims should be deported, but that went well on X. But of course, if you say all Jews should be deported, then your post is hidden because it's hateful. So you can't hate the most hateful, despicable people on earth, because they are mafiosos that will put you down. So again, this was pointed out by the Jew Max Blumenthal. So of course I don't want to deport him. On the other hand, it is problematic that the worst critique of Jewish behavior comes from Jews, because they might not have the same interests and as everyone else. But some nuances I'm all for. And I'm, however, still deleted from X, even though I've complained more. And the reason that they delete it is because they are sadists and worship Satan. So deleting information is really good, and destroying just for the sake of destroying. So that's something that these Jews on X like to do, it seems. And then Elon Musk is spreading lies and bullshit about XChat. I will try to make that a little bit nuanced, the critique. There is no evidence that Signal, another app, messaging app, steals your data. They have your phone number. That's about it. I don't say that Signal doesn't steal your stuff, but there is no proof of that. Signal went down because they have a central server that went down, and that is used for storing your phone number, basically. But XChat should be better, but we have closed source. We don't know if it really works, if it's still secure. And worst of XChat on X is that I can't use it. So if you suddenly, for unknown reason, get suspended by X or deleted, then you can say goodbye to XChat. If you want something to talk to people without the middleman, you need to search for something else. Not even Signal is good enough for that. There are, of course, more complicated solutions that are not convenient for normal people yet. When I got banned from Facebook, I could still use Messenger. I think that XChat is going to become more like a standalone product, but at the moment it doesn't solve anything for anyone and just pisses me off and make me warn for X again. I read some accounts that are saying that if you pay for X, you can use more features, but you will not get more reach. That doesn't seem to be a thing. You get suppressed for other reasons due to the algorithm. So that seems to be fake news at the moment. And until X has solved the problem with platform security, access to platform security. Jack Persuasion is continuing to make a total fool of himself. So if you are in another country or in another setting, I just mention him as an example. So he's posting about that Charlie Kirk, we must remember that the leftists did this, and you must be sure when someone is blaming the leftists, they are not good people. So here you see a black elder or a sticky elder. So he is working, he is the host of Human Events, not anything else. I got confused about that before. And he's ex-Navy Intel, so he's probably owned by Mossad. And he is a New York Times propagandist, and he wrote an entire book about communists without noticing anything about the background to the communists. And he always blames communists instead of their Jewish masters, of course, or that the communists are Jews. Glenn Beck, on the other hand, he has said that he will use his entire life to serve the Jews, but why? So he did some research and he dug up the 9 most dangerous persons in the world. So these are propagandists like Edward Bernays. So this is the man behind PR. So he wanted to write a book on propaganda, how to do it and how to be a really evil Jew. And they have demonized the Nazi propaganda so much that they couldn't use the word propaganda anymore. So they started to use public relations. So he was wrote the first book on propaganda that was not named propaganda, but public relations. And his uncle was Sigmund Freud, another very evil, deceptive person. And George Soros is named here, and a lot of other propagandists. Cass Sunstein or Sunstein, unclear how to pronounce that. Maybe they mix languages, so it becomes Sunstein. Yeah. So what happened? Of course, the Jews got really mad and pointed out that 8 of these 9 very awful people that are destroying society. They are Jews, so you can't criticize them. You have to not criticize Jews when they are criminal, and instead you should criticize their victims. So that's why he is still excusing them, and they will never forgive him and use him as a punching ball. Anyway, doesn't matter how kind you are to them, they do not. Yeah, but they will treat you as shit anyway, as we see with him. Trump is saying that USA needs to buy more Argentinian beef, and to put some context there are problems for beef producers in USA for reasons, regulations or whatever, or the prices are high but they still don't make money. I'm not sure why, but people think that why don't we protect our farmers? First of all, the Argentinian beef producers, they are having a boom. So a lot of the exporting industry in Argentina is doing great due to the crashing Rs, the Argentinian peso, and a lot of deregulation that has benefited them, for mining and food and stuff like that. On the other hand, manufacturing, it doesn't go well when your business was dependent on things that have been shut down very uncarefully, as they have done. And education and construction with public spending on building constructions and consumer goods, as many have lost their jobs that they used to have. So instead of helping people get better jobs, he just cut them, and it takes time. So you need to have a culture of small businesses, but this takes effort to build up, and this neoliberal kind of economy is limited. It feels like neo-communism, basically, even if it's sort of free market, but it's these globalist free markets where everything is focused on export and not so much how can we build up the local industry with local banking that helps people in a productive way. So he needs to work more on the foot soldiers and the smaller businesses, which is hard from the government. But other projects maybe. Eric Trump, I said that correctly, the son of Trump, he is going to speak in Auburn the 5th of November. And there are a lot of Israeli IP numbers that are searching for things that you do not want them to search for. Everyone involved there and in the hospitals, etc. So someone has dug up that and looked into it. So it's something that they at least considering, or it might be just a journalist that wonder if someone else is searching for it. But yeah, that's scary, and it seems they want to at least threaten Trump with that they will murder his children if he doesn't do what Netanyahu says. Wikipedia, I can remind you, is propaganda in a bad way. And they are lying, deceiving, and basically hiding stuff that doesn't fit the propaganda masters. But Elon Musk says that he will make a Grokpedia. It should have been released yesterday in its 0.1 version, but they couldn't hide all the facts that are anti-Israel, I assume. So they have postponed it 1 week at least for the first version. Japan has a new prime minister, Takaichi, that I've mentioned sometimes, but she got accepted now, so now Japan has their first female, first really conservative also prime minister for a long time. And finally, if you have a street with some 3D street art on it, you can make people behave differently, and that also affects animals. Actually, it's better to walk in a way that agree with the painting, it seems. So I've linked to an interesting video about that. But goodbye here from the Swiss stone pine. And here is a Siberian peace scrub, so you can get some peace here. They are a little bit poisonous. I just wanted to say that I also have a video from Tommy Robinson, and he is talking to an Israeli spokesperson that says that the Brits were okay when they were destroying their country for being involved in 2 world wars that they helped create, at least the Zionists in them. But as UK is not a good enough slave to the Zionists now, Brits have a special place in hell. I think Tommy Robinson's tour in Israel makes Tommy Robinson and Israel look really freaking horrible, and it just makes me hate them more. Maybe it has a different effect on you. But now, goodbye.